Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lady M, or Mr. E if you like, and we're here for Mission Makeup. At least I hope you are, because we're deep diving into our Halloween looks, honey. And today we're going to take it to a fashion place, high fashion. Maison Margiela and that iconic Pat McGrath makeup. The iconic glass skin, pale, washed out doll skin, interesting blush tones. Might even go to a yellow blush. Why not? It's just makeup, fun lip colors, just a real interesting look that we're gonna try to recreate today, okay? So dust off those paintbrushes. We're getting busy. Sometimes a makeup comes along and I get so inspired by it that even though I don't think I can fully have the skills to recreate it, I really just have to try. Does that ever happen to you? Such was the case with the Pat McGrath viral glass skin from the Maison Margiela couture Artisanal collection, if you will. It was just so theatrical, dramatic. It was just such a great combination of styling in the fashion and the hair and makeup that not only was I inspired by it as an avid watcher of fashion shows, you just never know what trends or things people are going to jump onto. But with this show, it just seemed collectively like every makeup, hair, fashion, drag, like anybody in the zeitgeist, if you will, was just like feeling this show, and we all collectively got inspired by it. There were just so many unique elements to this show that all added up. There was this underground, dirty setting with broken glass, pool tables, wet, rainy, atmospheric lighting, as well as incorporated film elements. Just all of these things made it feel like it was the only show, like you had never seen a show like this and you were witnessing something for the first time. With such a hyped up and viral look, Mother, of course, initially was really excited to do it, but she knew she didn't have the time to do it justice. So when we were planning for Halloween, this was one of the things on the top of my list to recreate. You know, we watched the masterclass with her, we tried to look at all kinds of videos and references and just sort of examine what maybe the pitfalls would be that people would do. Sometimes the skin would be too white, it would almost be like a kabuki skin. So with that mountain of things to think about, we just had to jump in and complete our task. One of the big elephants in the room was just the fact that I simply didn't own an airbrush, which was one of the key pivotal things to achieving that glass skin at the end. And there were other things too, like I couldn't rely on lashes, I couldn't rely on just having perfect model 20-something skin in Paris, you know? So I really made sure to prep my skin well and layer up the products in a way that would give that sort of soft, supple skin if I could at least try to achieve it. I did give in to a couple of my little draggy little tendencies. I added white to the waterline, but in like the most subtle way, just to still give that oomph, that doll-like, wide-eyed appeal, but also like not too obvious, if you will. Hopefully we achieve that. As a person who wears makeup with facial hair, there was definitely also that issue of color correcting, and then especially with a face that was so light, so I really had to set that orange color correction layer before I brought it up to a skin tone and then up obviously to the white skin tone. Anytime I start to doubt myself when I'm doing something so challenging, I just remember that I always tell other people to do things to challenge themselves and to go outside your comfort zone, and that I should always, of course, take my own advice. You know, makeup can be aspirational and inspirational, and I definitely have that tied to my inspirations in fashion. But of course, I always have to remember I am not a production team. I'm not a full team of makeup artists with all the right tools and stuff. So I think being realistic and always, you know, just trying to learn as you go along. It doesn't mean perfection every time. It just means that, you know, there may be some stumbles along the way, and I definitely had that in mind when I started this look. You know, I always tell people that, you know, I am a drag queen, but I never think of myself as a gender illusionist, if you will. I always just wanted to become sort of like a living fashion illustration. Or even like when I was in college, I used to browse the streets in Soho, looking up at the mannequins, the really inspirational, high fashion, expensive mannequins, and I wanted to become them. Even when I did merchandising, visual merchandising, I always was aspiring to be that glamorous mannequin that I was dressing myself. In drag, I always think of myself as the professional, but also the chameleon. And my strung suit has definitely always been styling. So for this look, I was definitely thinking head to toe. I wanted to create that iconic hair. And I wanted to think about what were the details, especially because I wanted to repurpose that black dress that I've been wearing. So I padded my hips out with my extra large hip padding, belted it in to show that silhouette just like in the runway show, and made these fun little boot covers with spray paint out of extra scrap pantyhose I had, as well as ripped up a pair of fishnets that had already been pretty well ripped up from some previous looks. Overall, I was really proud of this makeup and just the fact that I committed to the look, if you will, and even if the skin wasn't perfect and the face mask kind of made it a little drippy melted skin up close, I was really proud of just committing to what I wanted to do and seeing it through. And actually the really big positive was that this face mask is a great makeup remover, so there's that too. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe just even use this as your inspiration to challenge yourself today, you know? Hello, beautiful people. Mother's back with her final sexy shots. Are we giving you high fashion glamour? Pat McGrath, another mother. At Maison Margiela, are we giving you the full fantasy, darlings? You know, I'm feeling it. These thin and vintage eyebrows, funky yellow blush, little artistic lips. Don't you love this little colorful app? Well, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And watch Mission Makeup, Hail at the Party, and all things our mother has in store for you. Bye-bye.